Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We are very, very proud to have you all at our meeting tonight, and we're delighted to be at Shawnee Mission East. At this time, I would like to invite you all to stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are going to start our meeting tonight honoring a faculty art piece. That is what you see projected above me here. Every year faculty submits art and we select one, and this was the one that was selected this year. And I believe Kim is here joining us this evening. And I have a little bit to read about her piece. After completing her BFA at Truman State University in Visual Communications, Kim Shockey went on to be a graphic designer for a real estate magazine. Kim worked as a print and web graphic designer for over 7 years at various advertising firms. In 2012, Kim began teaching painting class at Grapes and Paints and was inspired to return to school to complete her master's in education at UMKC. After completing her student teaching at Shawnee Mission North, Kim was excited to accept a position with Shawnee Mission West as a part of the art faculty. In addition to teaching, Kim is a single mom and independently paints for commissions. She was also honored to recently win first place in the 2014 Renaissance Festival Mural Contest. Her favorite media is divided between acrylic painting and digital design. Faculty Art Purchase award-winning painting is called Going Home, and it was painted in 2014. In her words, she's describing this piece. This piece was intended to commemorate my late grandfather, Stanford Wormington. As he aged, signs of dementia grew more prominent. While my family toyed with the concept of assisted living, I contemplated taking care of him. Before I could consider the full implications of this, I decided that time wasn't a luxury we had. I fledged forward with the intention of giving back a very small piece of what my family had given me. The following 6 months were very emotional, exhausting, and rewarding. This painting was inspired by a picture taken of him just 1 month before his passing. He has progressively become more reflective and was often staring up into the sky, lost in thought. I tried to capture his bundled emotions of fear, acceptance, and hope. This is a tribute to Stanford Wormington, 1921 to 2012. So Kim, I'm hoping that you are here. There she is. Would you please come up on this stage? I think the amazing thing to seeing this piece was that you could part with it. It is a beautiful piece. There you are. Thank you so very much. Congratulations. Great work. Now we'll get back to the agenda here and move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Hinson.
Thank you, Mrs. Zila. A couple of quick items tonight before we get to our recognitions. This last week, Governor Brownback did announce that his plan is not to withhold any money this fiscal year from K-12. I will remind you that that has to be approved by the legislature. And so we'll certainly see what happens this legislative session. As a school district, we are certainly looking at the next 2 fiscal years. They are not promising. The best case scenario is that we remain revenue neutral, not an increase in revenue. That is the best case scenario. Certainly we'll keep you apprised of what takes place during the legislative session. We will work diligently over the next several months in the school district to look at all of our positions that do not have direct contact with students, to see how we can address pupil-teacher ratio, put more people in the classroom, even without additional resources being allocated to us. So stay tuned for that conversation. I also want to inform you tonight that I do have a final green light from the architects in relation to the aquatic/wellness center. It will be located on the south end of the stadium at South High School. So what we will do is tie in a Champions Plaza. We'll tie in concession stands in the Aquatic Wellness Center there on the south end of the stadium there at South High School, the all-district stadium there. I thought you might have interest in that. Tonight, certainly it's a great honor to be able to recognize our students, certainly their coaches, and all their family members that work to support them. This is a great year in the Shawnee Mission School District, certainly as we recognize individuals for their accomplishment and teams as well. And really on behalf of the administration and school board, it's a great honor for us to be able to have your attendance at a board meeting so we can take a few minutes and recognize who you are and your great accomplishments. After the student recognitions tonight, we do have a reception for you, so we're not going to ask you to stay for the board meeting, even though if you really have interest, you can, students. But there is food that's located back in the cafeteria, and so we'll ask you, your coaches, and all your family members, as soon as we're finished with the student recognition, you don't have to stay for the rest of the board meeting. We'll try to move through our business as quickly as possible so we can come back and join you as well. And so we're going to start tonight by doing this. So all of the coaches and the individual award winners. So we're recognizing tonight, and it was difficult trying to decide, okay, where do you really draw the line? Because obviously we're at East High School tonight, and we could have all the Harbinger staff here. I mean, there just isn't any end. And so to really start this student recognition, we said, let's start with all of the CASHA activities. If you had a first, second, or third place finish, let's start with that recognition. But really the focus is, how do we, as a school district, recognize and congratulate you for all of your great accomplishments? So tonight, if you are an individual that finished first, second, and third, and your coaches, would you please come to the platform? So you can come up either side, stand in front, and we're going to recognize you. So individuals and their coaches, and the school board's going to join me up here tonight. We're going to get to state teams next. So we're going to start tonight, instead of us trying to pronounce your name, we're going to ask you to tell us about the great season, the accomplishment, but introduce yourself in the process, and just take the microphone and take it on down the line, please.
I'm Sue Chipman, the coach. I didn't hit a ball all season, but my girls came through wonderfully. This is KJ Ritchie, my assistant coach.
Yes, hi. This is Elizabeth Barnacle, who won first place at state this year, finally.
There you go. Oh, say your name. Okay.
Tell us your name and tell us first place and what sport, please.
Okay. My name's Elizabeth Barnacle, and I won state this year in girls tennis.
I'm Stephanie Wilcox, and I got third place in doubles.
I'm Aiden Epstein, and I got third place in doubles with Stephanie.
I'm Sarah Wilcox, and I got third place in singles in tennis.
Hi, I'm Ann Heinlein. I'm head coach for gymnastics for both North and West. And I have Ariana Coker, who placed second on balance beam. She's from West. Natalie Landman from North placed second on vault. And Caroline Miller was the state bars champion for West.
Okay, my name is Romano Richel. I'm the coach, head golf coach for the girls golf team. And we came in second at state. And to my right is Jessica Parker, who came in second at state and was just honored by being selected as All-Metro Kansas City Star Golfer of the Year for the girls golf. And to my right is Julia Stopperin, and she was on the state team as well. Okay.
We have certificates for all of you. We've given those to your coaches as well. Coaches, any other last words of wisdom or recognition?
I'm just worried about those two girls left sitting down there. They took 6th at state, and they're ongoing. Will be more promising for them next year, I believe. So we're going to look for them again.
Shall we put them on the spot tonight?
Sure.
Well, they might as well join us.
Come on
the
up,
stage
girls.
Tonight, so.
Coming up first is Joey Fryrick, one of the doubles teams, and then Larkin McCliney, the other doubles player, her partner.
I would like to congratulate the girls and the past girls, because I believe this is our 4th championship in a row. And I'd like to congratulate Coach Chipman for her millionth championship. No. Many, many championships for East. We're very fortunate. Thank you.
Let's give him one more round of applause, please. Congratulations and thank you. Thank you. The West girls tennis doubles team, are you here tonight? So the answer is no. How about the cross country team from West? They are here tonight, so that's great. There in the middle. Get the spotlight on you. How are you? We'll have you in the
Okay. No, that's good. Hi, my name is Coach Jeff Onnen. I'm the head cross-country coach at Shawnee Mission West. We obviously have a few more girls on the team than what are up here with me tonight, but most of you know that final exams start tomorrow morning, so they're home studying tonight and weren't able to be with us. But I've got Cheyenne Martin, who was our manager this season. She was a big part of our success and did a great job of helping the team out. And then Amber Reed, who was one of our top runners this season. The girls' team ended up finishing 3rd place at state this season. That was their 5th consecutive trip back to the state meet, where they have finished no lower than 4th in all of those years. This is a very young team that we had this year. The girls that ran at state, I think we had 1 junior on the team, a couple of sophomores, and the rest of them were freshmen. So we've got a very young group that's very talented, and we're expecting to have more success in the next couple of years in the window that we have with these girls. So anyway, that's us. Thank you.
Coach, I just have a couple questions for you because I'm thinking this next season I might train with the girls if that's all right. So, but how many miles a week are they running?
You know, our freshman girls are probably running a little bit less than the girls that have run before, but they probably top out around probably about 40 to 45 miles a week.
40 to 45 miles a week. So some of you parents, you can join me in that challenge. And so, but how much time? I know that it takes a tremendous amount of time really to train for this kind of accomplishment. Just give us a little idea, or a little glimpse in the lives of these girls.
Well, it's really, I get the pleasure of really being with these girls, not just during the fall. A lot of them will run track during the spring as well. In fact, we met for dinner tonight, and we've already started to talk about our goals for next season. But we'll start conditioning for track in January, and then we're basically running straight through all the way up through the end of October, the state meet for cross country. So it's a lot of time. It takes a lot of commitment. You can't be a distance runner just on the 10 weeks that we have during the season. So they put a lot of time and effort during the summer to get themselves ready to go.
Tremendous amount of time and commitment. So congratulations to you and all the girls as well. So let's give them another round of applause, please. You know, finally, we're going to have some men on the stage. It's kind of been dominated by the ladies tonight. So at this time, Coach Delaney, your coaches, all the young men, Shawnee Mission East football team. You know, while they're coming up here tonight, I'll make this statement. It was great, obviously, to win the state championship. You know, then when there was about 2 minutes left to go in the game, I thought I would start relaxing just a little bit. But I think it's important as well for us to congratulate all of our students and our fans. Our sportsmanship, the class which was demonstrated by everyone at the game as well, was absolutely outstanding. And so I was on the other side, being able to watch into our stands and how everyone conducted themselves. I don't think any of us in the Shawnee Mission community could have any more pride in not only our football accomplishment, but for all of our fans and students as well. What a class act. So congratulations. We appreciate that very, very much. Okay, Coach Delaney, it's all yours, sir.
Well, I thank you very much for inviting us out tonight. It's a tremendous honor not only to be having the board meeting here at Shawnee Mission East, but to be recognized by Dr. Henson and the board. We thank you for that. Extremely proud of this group of boys, men, if you will. They are not only great football players, they're great citizens, they're great students. Many of them are out for other activities at our school. We have kids that are involved in band, in choir, in DECA, in basketball, baseball, you name it, they're involved in it. And they're very, very well-rounded and obviously tremendous football players as well. We finished the year ranked #1 in the Metro, which I don't think Kansas schools do very often. So over all those Missouri schools. And most importantly, you know, our school has a ton of state championships, and to finally do our part as a football program and keep up with all the other sports, we got a ways to go to get to where they're at, but we're glad to get our first one in. Just a tremendous, group of kids. And once again, we thank you guys for honoring us tonight. It's a tremendous honor. Thank you.
Coach Delaney, and to all the coaches that were up here tonight and who have made such an impact on our athletes this year, congratulations on behalf of the entire Board of Education and the Shawnee Mission School District. You guys did an awesome job this year, and we are so happy to be here to honor you tonight. We have some certificates that we'll let the coach pass out to you for your team and your managers. I think are certificates in there. So again, congratulations.
We just have one more question tonight. So I just need one of you to describe Coach Delaney to us. Anybody want to do that? Coach Delaney says you're not doing that. So, okay, we don't want to do that. Okay, Coach. Let me make one more statement as we view our students tonight. It takes a tremendous amount of dedication, commitment, a tremendous time consumption of our coaching staff to really have successful programs. And so successful coaches don't just show up for practice and show up for games and that's it. It's a tremendous commitment on the part of their entire family. And so we really appreciate it. Coach Delaney, all of your staff, ladies, all of the coaches that are here tonight as well. So with the time and commitment of our students, with our coaching staff, with you, our families as well, this is what it looks like when you taste that sweet savor of victory. So congratulations. Thank you for being great representatives of the Shawnee Mission School District. One more round of applause for them, please. Thanks, gentlemen. And if you're underclassmen, same time, same place next year, same accomplishment. Okay, it's a deal. Thanks, Coach. So as everyone returns to their seat, just two things quickly tonight. One, we wanted to be here for this recognition because for all of the students, this is why we have the Shawnee Mission School District. It is all because of you. Secondly, we didn't want to have you out for an event and not feed you. And so at this point in time, all of the students, coaches, your family members, again, if you want to stay for how many board policies tonight, 100 some odd board policies, and you're welcome to do that, but we'll see you in a few minutes back in the cafeteria. So enjoy, and we'll see you shortly. Thank you. I'll say one other thing.
Okay.
You know, while they're exiting, I will mention to you, and some of you are aware, I attended another Efficiency Commission meeting today in Topeka. Certainly it was another interesting meeting. We did not finish our work today, and so we will reconvene on January 6th. Our legislative charge ends on January 9. So the time frame is relatively close, but we're going to end on January 6th. So we did approve some items of legislation to be introduced. Some others were not approved, and certainly some resolutions were considered today. So I'll be glad when that part of my life is over, but you'll hear more about that in relation to the Efficiency Commission. Our final report will be drafted prior to January 9. So I think we've mainly exited now, so thank you, Mrs. Zila.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Hinson. We will move on to open forum. Just to give you an idea of open forum, at the beginning of each regular business meeting, the Board of Education provides an open forum as an opportunity for public comment on school district issues. Agendas are published in advance to notify the community of the topics under consideration. Patron comments are welcome, but those wishing to speak to an issue not included in the agenda will not usually receive a response during the meeting. We have one speaker tonight, and that is Jason Jansen, and we have a microphone right over here. Very good. Thank you.
Almost feel regular height. Good. My name's Jason Jansen. We currently have, my wife and I have 5 students in Shawnee Mission, and they're all angels and perfect. I just wanted to address the tech rollout that's happening this year. My background is I've got 15 years experience in logistics and enterprise rollout of laptops, desktops, all that kind of fun stuff. And I do applaud you guys for moving us in the right direction. I was hoping the initial return of investment would be getting the textbooks on there. I'm hoping you guys are moving in that direction. But my wife and I have both been trying to get some answers, and it's been a little frustrating. I know from an enterprise standpoint, I'm still concerned that students can go to the App Store and download whatever they would like to. The companies that I consult for, this is for adults, we lock it down so they can't download anything that's not approved. That's been a real issue in our house. We keep having to have the laptop sent back up to IT to have games and such removed. I've got a couple of my children, though they are perfect, that have a touch of ADHD, and the messaging part of it has really become a problem for both of them. I've got 2 that are really tanking on grades. And I may be old school, but for me, the messaging part, even though we like to be able to contribute to coordinating during class and things like that, it's no different than passing notes in class, and it's become really hard for a couple of my kids to deal with. So I guess I just wanted to let you guys know that it is a concern. It's not just my wife and I, other parents that we've talked to. The App Store, number one, that's a big one. We really should. I know there's a way from an enterprise standpoint to lock it down where we can only put in whatever apps that they can download. The second one is I know that we can also limit the messaging if we need to. I know that I do trainings for a living, and the first thing that I do when I go into a training is tell everybody to put their laptops and phones up. And I can imagine how difficult that is for a teacher in their situations trying to deal with that as well, with phones and laptops and everything else. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Hopefully you guys are coming up with an answer to that, because right now we're not getting really specific answers, and I'm having to really ride a bunch of kids. I mean, I'm lucky, I'm an IT guy. Our home network is locked down like Fort Knox, but once they're with you all, then they're your problem, you know. But that's all I have to say. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of November 24th.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs.
Second.
Bisfield. Thank you, Mrs. Goodburn. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the special meeting of December 8th.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Mack.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Levens. Is there any discussion? Corrections? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Adoption of the agenda.
Move adoption.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodburn.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Bisfield. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Approval of routine business by consent. Is there any item that any board member would like removed from the consent agenda? Okay, then is there a
Move
motion?
approval.
Thank you,
Second.
Mrs. Bisfield and Mrs. Goodburn. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. We will move through that consent agenda to letter L, Action Educational Services. Dr. Hinson.
Before you tonight, we have our high school program planning guide. I know you've had a chance to review this in advance. I do have Dr. Strike and others here with me tonight if you have questions, but if not, we'll need to approve, please.
Mrs. Mack.
I'd move approval for action item L1, the high school program planning guide for 2015 to 2016.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Lemons. Any other discussion? Mrs.
I
Bisfield?
would just say, having seen this very often, there really has been a lot of hard work and time put into it with all of the different changes and things we've seen, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Move on to L2, middle school programs. Dr. Hinson.
The same version there, 2015-2016 middle school program of studies.
Is there a motion for approval?
Move approval of the middle school program of studies for 2015-2016.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodburn. Any other discussion?
Just ditto.
And thank you for the edits that were noted there. They were very clear. Thank you. I appreciate that. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. Move on to action N, Action Human Resources. Is there someone who would like to make a motion for the contract for the superintendent? Mrs. Bisfield?
I would move approval for the 2015-2016 contract year for the superintendent.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodburn. And just as a clarification, this is a rollover for 1 year. There's no other contract revisions on this. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. We'll move on to N2, contract for the deputy superintendent.
Move approval for the 2015-2016 contract for the deputy superintendent.
Thank you, Mrs. Mack.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Levens. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Move on to O, Business Services, approval of capital outlay fund resolution. Dr. Hinson.
We are ahead on this issue. We're required to notice this up for 40 days prior to issuing any other bonds through our capital outlay fund. And so initially when the legislation passed this last year, KSDE's interpretation was that it was perpetual and continual. Since that point in time, the state has said, well, that's probably not true, and so we're being safe and proactive in that regard. And so all we're doing tonight is this is the permission to publish our notice in relation to our capital outlay fund. And so down the road, if we issue more bonds through capital outlay, we already have the resolution taken care of.
Very good.
Move approval?
Thank you, Mrs. Goodburn. Is that Mrs. Bisfield? Okay. Second by Mrs. Bisfield. Is there any other discussion?
I just want to clarify that still is the same 8 mil.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Move on to action by the superintendent. Dr. Hinson.
The first item tonight, number one of many under action items, but we'll group the others. Recommend approval of the resignation tonight of our employee to transfer situation. The $1,000 penalty will be waived if we can fill the position prior to December 19. So obviously that's right around the corner. So recommendation for approval of resignation, and we will waive the penalty if we can fill the position prior to Friday.
Is there a motion to?
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Levens. Thank you, Mrs. Mack. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. And we will move on to the second reading of a number of policies. Dr. Hinson, do you want to field that?
Be happy to do so. As you can see tonight, the second reading, and we're going to start at 2, and we're going to go through, you may have to... 66. So it's second reading. We'd be happy to entertain any questions. And certainly we have 2 members of our task force here tonight as well.
Are there any questions on the second reading of, and these are the student section of our policies.
I would move approval for action items P2 through P66.
Thank you, Mrs. Mack.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodburn. Any other discussion?
I just wanted to echo one more time, thank you for the time that you all spend on these policies. You've done a terrific job.
We so appreciate you bringing forth kind of all your collected thoughts from that and recommendations, so we do indeed very much appreciate that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor of number P2 through 66, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Then we will address the first readings. Dr. Hinson.
We are 67 through 154. Obviously, it's the first reading, which echoes the statement. Thanks, ladies, for all your work in vetting these policies. It's a tremendous amount of work. But first reading on 67 through 154. So certainly if you have questions or input, the board policy task force can address these. Make sure you've had a chance to go through these prior to our next meeting. But a lot of intricate policies, if you will, I think is a fair way to say it.
Right. And this concerns business management, finance sections of our policy book.
I would move approval.
Well, this is just first reading,
First
so
reading, we don't
right.
need it. Good.
So we will address these again in their entirety again
And we have
in
had
January.
a lot of help from staff.
That's great. Yes, we
these,
do appreciate
definitely.
that as well. It's
Let's
a
not
lot.
look at them till next year.
Pardon?
Let's look at them next year.
Yeah, we'll look at them next year. That's right. Very good. Okay, well, that moves us through a whole lot of the agenda there. A whole lot of the agenda. We will come to the board financial report. Dr. Hinson.
The November financial report, again, this is sounding like a broken record, but we're right on track with everything at this point in time in the school year. You know, I did mention earlier in the conversation, we're watching carefully to see what the legislature will do with the governor's recommendation and what will transpire the rest of the school year. So but that could impact some things in the report down the road toward the end of the budget cycle, but right now everything looks great.
Are there any questions on the monthly financial report that anyone has? Mr. Knapp is here waiting anxiously for any questions. Okay, very good. We will file that report. And that moves us to board comments. Are there any comments by board members this evening? I think it was a wonderful
See students.
honoring of the students tonight. That is kind of what we will try to do at every meeting, student achievement. Hopefully we will address the co-curricular and extracurricular, not just the athletics. This was our CASHA winners for the fall. So it was delightful to see the turnout that we had here tonight, and we will look forward to doing that again in the future.
So if you have comments about the next stage of recognition, so we thought about, okay, do we do winter sports in March? Because obviously in the spring, there'll be a lot of recognitions, we trust, and so we'll probably do that in June. And so do we do it in 3 groups annually, or really how should that work? So if you have thoughts as we go along, please let me know. I appreciate your understanding putting this together tonight, but we wanted to move through the agenda as well, so you have a chance to intermingle with the students and the parents as well. I was visiting with one young man briefly ahead of time. He about broke my hand, I think, in advance. It's like, my gosh. And great young man. I think they said a 3.99 GPA. Has been offered scholarships to either the Air Force Academy or the University of Kansas. He's going to be extremely successful in whatever he does, and that's why we're here. So it's great to be able to recognize our students and our parents certainly as well. So I appreciate the opportunity to move through this quickly so we can go back and talk to them individually as well. They have some great stories to tell.
Sure. Very good. Well, seeing no other business, the meeting is adjourned, and I invite you to go to the cafeteria for the reception. Thank you so much for coming.